Hey everybody, what's up? And it's your boy Hemi.
And it is your boy Kyrie. And welcome
And
to another
welcome
episode
to
of What's
What's
the
the
Point?
Point? We're gonna practice. You know what? Next time we're gonna hit our mark.
No,
We're gonna
nope.
take some time and practice.
It's
That's
only
what we're
going to
gonna do.
be it. It's only going to work when we get back in studio. I'm telling you now. It is only going
No,
to work when we get back in studio because you're always going to be behind
so
me. I mean, as you
we'll
should be.
practice.
But
We're
just
gonna do
saying.
some practicing. We're gonna practice.
Hmm.
Oh
Anywho,
no.
okay.
Like,
So, say what? What'd you say? Can you not interrupt me for once?
you interrupted me actually, but continue.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going. Thank you.
I was
Oh, I will.
opening the show today, so I was gonna say, and welcome to another episode of What's the Point? And you just rolled over me. But continue.
That's
Go
what I
ahead.
do.
Have the
Okay,
floor.
so much. Anywho, so today's going to be a continuation of the episode that we just did prior, discussing relationship experiences and things like that. Hemi gave us a wonderful question to start off with, discussing our worst relationships, and that took us actually the entire hour. Very fucking good question, my guy. Um, so Hemi has more, and we're gonna let him lead off and do what he does best. So I'll toss the mic to you, my friend. Go ahead and kick it off, and let's get started with round two.
So I have another question. I think you were bringing a couple questions to the table too, but the first question that I have today is, what are some deal breakers for you as far as when you are kicking it with somebody where you feel like it could go somewhere? Are there deal breakers for you?
Oh, several. I mean, not several. Um, First and foremost, attitude is everything. Like I am as chill as I can be when I meet somebody for the first time or hanging out with somebody for the first time, which says a lot because I'm a very energetic person. So if you have attitude or if you find my energy overwhelming, that's going to be an off put right away for me. Because I can be high energy and I do when I have somebody around that I like, I do get excited. I get excitable. That's just a part of who I am. So if you can't handle that and take it like, oh, okay, this is a sign of him liking me and not him just being impressed or however you want to read that, it's not really going to work. You know what I mean? Um, Dealing with non-weed smokers, it's not necessarily a rule breaker, but not being able to understand or be okay with me smoking because that's something about me that's not going to change. You know what I
But
mean?
what if they smoke but they don't care if you do?
Say what?
What if they don't smoke but they don't care if you do?
That's cool.
Like,
You know what
I
I'm saying?
don't
As long
smoke
as
that smokes, but
right. And that for me is what I would prefer if I was to date somebody that did not smoke, which would be like, okay, he does, and just let that be that. Don't try to talk to me about curbing my smoking. If I get sick, don't tell me not to smoke. If I'm upset, if something, whatever, don't bring any conversation to make smoking to me as a negative. Because when you do that, it's a turnoff to me because then it's showing me that you really don't like it and you're trying to find any avenue to weave it into a conversation to try to change me. You understand what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
Like, now I will say cigarette smoke. I can tolerate cigarette smoke with open windows and open spaces. I cannot do cigarette smoke in closed spaces. Like, at one point, that was a definite no for me, but if I want someone to accept me smoking weed and they smoke cigarettes, I may not like it because cigarettes can do way more damage than weed. It's a fact. No shit, no shade. I'm just saying. Um, but as long as my lungs are respected in the fact that, like, you got to have a window or ventilation or something because it will choke me. Weed smoke will not choke you or any other person that, unless you just
Yes,
have
it
sensitive
will.
lungs, it can.
That's a lie.
No, I'm saying unless you have sensitive lungs, it can, but more often than not, it does not necessarily make a person choke like cigarette smoke.
It does me. Weed does not work for me. If you know when you smoke, I'm like, crack open the windows.
Yeah,
Do
but
I
you can
not?
take a but you can take a contact high
But
though. You can get
you can't determine what how weed does me. You're making a generalization, and you can't determine
okay,
that
but
weed won't affect your
that
part.
generalization is based on my own personal experiences. But to what you just said, you may not be able to smoke like I smoke, like hit a blunt. However, you can take a contact high, which we did prove 2 weeks ago.
I didn't say I couldn't take a contact high. I said it bothers me. That's what I'm
But
trying to say.
I mean, like I was saying, so I agree with you that there are some people who have sensitive lungs and marijuana smoke may affect them differently. But then it's also kind of weird that you can't take marijuana smoke, but you can take cigarette smoke.
I feel the same way about you.
Yeah, built differently.
It's
Anyway,
potato potato.
yeah, I guess you could say that. Getting back on topic because that's a whole other discussion. Um, no, yeah, but but I get where you're coming from with that. But people that just are jerks, assholes. That's an automatic rule breaker. I tend to be more mellowed out in terms of what I want. I want somebody that is just cool and easy to be around and fun. Like someone that I don't have to pretend to be with. If I don't feel like I can be myself, my authentic self, watch Power Rangers or Kamen Rider or smoke a blunt or talk funny shit. That's that's an automatic rule breaker. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the comfort of it all for me now. I'm 42 years old, about to be 43. For me, it's companionship and comfort because sex can happen if chemistry is there. It will happen. You know what I'm saying? My dick ain't dead, but I need that individual I can chill with. If I can't chill with you, that's an automatic out. You know what I mean? Like we have this running joke. I'm gonna pass it to you after I say this. Sometimes for all the fun that we have and all the kinky things that we do, at the end of the day, I just want somebody to rub my butt and tell me I'm pretty. Because it's just like we have fun. We're not old. You know what I'm saying? Not by a long shot. We have wonderful lives that we lead, but even for all the kinky things that we do, sometimes when you go back to that hotel room, your thought is like, I just want to watch TV with somebody and talk about what happened out there. I don't necessarily have to do anything else. You know. Um,
So
and I,
you don't
go
want
ahead.
to be all about sex. Is that what you're saying?
Oh God, no. For some, and you know what I find, and this is a question I want to throw to you because I was thinking about this. Being in the kink world, don't you find that when it comes to being outside of it, you want less to do with sex in terms of like, because you know how easy it is to obtain it, and you know what levels that you can reach with it. Don't you find it more stimulating outside of that to just have conversation, to just spend that time?
Well, if I'm honest, I am led by mental stimulation in the first place. So I'm very good with a good conversation leading to some sort of sexual intimacy. But
Thank
um,
you.
yeah, I've always been that way, inside, outside the kink world, and all that stuff. So
Yes, because
that
stimulating the mind, huh? You can stimulate a whole lot of things by getting to the brain first.
exactly. Yeah.
Something else I wanted to toss to you that I was thinking about, because a lot of my stuff was in the kink world because that's kind of where we reside. With a lot of things. So something that I was thinking about, I wanted to ask you is how would you yourself deal with an individual that was not in the kink world, but you felt really strongly for this person? Because we do deal with a lot of individuals in our events and in this lifestyle that have partners who are not kink. And we have seen some relationships dissolve because of this. So, how would you handle that situation yourself? Like, after what you have witnessed and things like that, how would you handle these situations?
Or how have you handled
Yeah.
it? So,
Okay. So make sure I come back to my deal breakers because I wanted to get my deal breakers. But
I
I like
definitely do. I definitely do. But it's just my questions started to roll in my head, and I wanted to get them to you.
I'm gonna answer it. So I think in those situations, it is always about open communication.
Hmm.
I find a lot of times from stories I hear and things like that, a lot of times one person may be kinkier than the other and is hiding things from the other partner. Um,
Hmm.
in the
Hmm.
end is never a good thing. I feel like if you're going to be in a relationship, you should be open and honest about what it is you want so that you can decide if you're going to, if this is a good fit, if we should be together. And I feel like for me, those are conversations I try to have in the beginning before we make a
Hmm.
commitment to each other. I kind of want to, I'll let you know where I'm at. You can let me know where
Hmm.
you're at. We can see if
Right.
those things mesh. And if they don't, then hopefully we haven't wasted too much of each other's time being in a space where we're pretending that we want what the other one wants. And in the end, someone ends up unhappy and everyone gets hurt. So I kind of have, in my older, wiser years, did a lot of being who someone wanted me to be in my 20s. But in my older
Mm-hmm.
years, I'm much coming to the table like, here it is. This is who I am. Uh, love me or leave me from the rent from rent. It's just
One of my
who.
favorite songs. That's why. Oh, I love that
So
song
yeah,
so much.
very much gonna put it on the table for you. Like this is who I am. I belong to these organizations. This is what I enjoy. What about you? And if you're not on the same page, that's fine. And if we're not on the same level, but you can deal with what I'm into or what I have going on and vice versa, then I feel like you can make that work, but that's a conversation that needs to be had, honestly.
Okay.
So for me, the way to navigate that is really about communication.
Okay. So I'm gonna double it back to what we were talking about before, to the breaking points or the I just forgot the word I was going to use to you what you
Deal
just
breaker.
asked me. Thank you so much. I want to double it back around to your deal breakers question, and I'm gonna put on top of you to bring it back what you're saying. So,
Okay.
have you found any situations that have created deal breaker situations for you where you try to avoid it? Like you saw it could be a deal breaker, but like you tried to offset it, but it didn't take. It still happened. And when you have these deal breakers come, how do you rebound? How do you get that back? Like you know what I'm saying? Like do you take it really to heart? Do you like, oh fuck, damn, I really like this motherfucker? Like, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it depends on how long we were kicking it, how deep I got into the situation. Um, Now that I'm older and I've been through so many things, and this could also be a hindrance to me actually be in a relationship as well. Because now that I'm older, I've experienced so many things, I see red flags early and I step out of it. Like, no, I know I'm not going to be
I
able
think
to
that's a
do
good
it.
thing though.
And but sometimes it could be a hindrance because I feel like as soon as I see it, I'm stepping away versus maybe seeing if that was a one time thing. Sometimes I'm just like, nope, not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And because I've been through so much bullshit in relationships, as we spoke about in the last episode, that was just a taste of things I've been through. But
Right. I want
so
you to give me another example.
so like some of my red flags, I mean, or my deal breakers. So like honesty, like I cannot tolerate a liar, and I am so observant and Inspector Gadget that what I've always found out is this. as the saying goes, it's harder to keep up with a lie than to just tell the truth. And
Very true.
so a lot of my technique, if you tell me something and I do in my gut, I feel like you lying to me. I might wait a week and ask you about the situation again to see if your story the same. Because a lot of times you'll find that certain things in the story will change because it's hard to keep up with a lie. It's easier for you to just tell the truth because the truth is what happened, so you don't have to remember the shit you made up. And so that is how a lot of times I catch people in lies. I just happen to
Yeah.
say, "Remember what we was talking about when you was in the car and you told me you was what had happened again?" And the story changes. But that's a big one, like honesty. So I'd
Hmm.
rather you just upfront. If we need to argue and figure it and move past it and get over it, let's argue. But just don't lie to me, because once you break my trust, it's really hard to get my trust back. That's just who I am. Like
Excuse me.
you can't keep. I'm not gonna let you run over me with lies. So that's a big one. Um, Another one is I need somebody who can laugh at themselves, like that
I
we
agree with
can crack
that.
on each other. We can, and you don't take offense to everything. It's really an issue for me, and this is my experience. Audience, do not attack me, but I find like a lot of the
Say it all the time.
because I don't need no girls calling me, but I find a lot of times like the younger generation, maybe like 20s, early 30s, take offense to everything
Hmm.
with this cancel culture. And it's very hard sometimes to crack a joke with them or
Yeah.
without saying, "How dare you say that about me?" And it's like, it was all in fun. But I definitely need someone who can laugh and crack jokes on me because I can laugh at me. Um, that's a comfort level for me. I live in laughter. I think
Yeah,
it's
I
the
agree
best
with
way.
that.
Um, I'm big on that. Um, then
Hands down, if you can make me laugh, you can get the draws. Hands down, I'm be honest with you, because laughter for me, I agree, it's big. You know what I'm saying? And it does
yes,
create a comfort level because I'm a silly motherfucker. And if I can be silly with you, oh baby, baby, yeah, I definitely understand that. Like I think some people take themselves too seriously, and it's not even just the younger generation. I think people that are in our generation as well, excuse me, take themselves too seriously sometimes. You know, and for me, I agree 100%. You have to be able to laugh at yourself. You're not perfect. I laugh at
yeah,
myself all the time. I play the dumb role all the time because it's fun. It's simple. You understand what I'm saying? Um, but that thing of being able to share humor that creates a bond, and that's what I feel like is important. Things that create bonds, even small bonds. I feel like that's really important.
right.
What other question did you have? I like those answers that you
I have
gave,
one
by the
more.
way.
I have one
Okay.
more because this one I want to put this one out there too because this one is important to me. I also really pay attention to how someone I could potentially date treats other people
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
like things like how you talk to your parents or your siblings, or if you have kids, how you talk to your kids, or just if we're out at dinner, how you talk to the server or stuff like that. Like, I feel like, especially in the beginning, if you see them just talking down to people all the time, it's gonna come back on you, and you're
Yeah.
gonna catch that. And so, that is kind of a deal breaker for me. If you're just, it's hard to hold a relationship with anybody, or I just noticed that. Then I will say a caveat to that is also somebody who has nobody, because I feel like they're gonna want every moment of my time once we get together. That is so
Right.
weird to me that somebody who says I don't get along with my family, I don't have no friends. I hate my coworkers, and I've met people like that, and you'll find that if they do start liking you, they want every moment of your time and
Yeah.
a golden nugget. I like to give my golden nuggets that my mother always told me when I asked her how her and my dad survived 46 years of marriage. May they rest in peace. But the thing she always would tell me was we had our own lives outside of each other. He did
You
stuff
have
with
to.
friends and family. I did things with friends and family. We always came back together. But she was like, it was not good for us to just be up under each other 24 hours a day. It's like, get away from me and go do something. Let me miss you. Come back, and it's even better. And so I always take that in consideration in a relationship. Like, don't let anyone tell you you shouldn't hang out, you shouldn't have friend time or sibling time or time with your parents or whoever if someone is wanting to keep you away from everybody. Nope.
I will say that when I was younger, that was one of my more toxic traits. I did not know or think about having a life outside of the other person. You know what I mean? Like I made my world the other person. You know what I'm saying? I made their friends my friends and all of that. I didn't. A lot of life did not open up for me until I moved to Michigan. Here's where I learned that you know you cannot come into a situation with nothing. You know what I mean? And I'm not just talking about like finances. I mean, you can't come into a situation with nothing at all, like you just said. No friends, no interests, no hobbies, no family, nothing, because then you will want that person to be everything to you. You
And
want
when
that
your
person to
break
feel
up, your world is destroyed because you
exactly.
make
And I've
that person everything. They taking their friends with them that you try to make your friends. All those things is going out the door with them, and
and
you
I have
left.
lived in that world, and it is a very lonely, depressing place to be when you don't know what it's like to actually make friends. You learn for the first time what it's like to make friends that are genuinely your friends outside of other people. You know what I mean? They weren't people that you were trying to sleep with and be friends with at the same time. Like having genuine friends has taught me what it means to have a relationship with somebody and be able to commingle with a person and share your interests with that person and vice versa. You know, I've been single for 8 years and I have learned a lot in that 8 years. I've learned to have more respect for the things that I like so that when I meet somebody, I can share with them my world. You know what I'm saying? My world is filled with Power Rangers, Kamen Rider, Sailor Moon, weed, and laughs. And if you can walk in that world, baby, do you walk with me? You know what I'm saying? Um, I'm proud of that now. I used to be ashamed of the things that I liked because it was hard to get people to understand them. Okay, oh well, but that's my world, and it took people saying to me, "I can't be your world," for me to have to go find one.
Right.
Um, you know, and you can't do a lot when you don't have anything to contribute to somebody else. You know what I
Right.
mean? I've learned that just as much as you want to learn about somebody, they want to learn about you. And that's the narcissistic, self-centered person. If they're not, they'll want to learn just as much about you as you want to learn about them. And for a long time, I didn't think I had anything to share. I do now. I have a lot of shit to share. I just
Lord, you
didn't
do.
realize. And the right guy, when he comes along, he's going to have all of his own interests and things like that. And I might be into some of them not. And it's going to be vice versa. Do I hope that he at least likes Power Rangers? Yes, I do. But if he doesn't, oh well. It's not going to take away from my love of it or who I am or the value I bring to us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a workaround. Just have two TVs, and it could be like you go in there and watch Power Rangers. I'm gonna go in here and
That's all.
watch,
That's going to be automatic. There's going to be multiple TVs in my house wherever I live, honey. I understand something like
TV program
ooh,
you could get.
to that because you gave me a. I wanted to ask this to you, and I'm glad you reminded me. How do you feel about in relationships having separate bedrooms? Because I am for that particular reason right there. Having separate interests and having different sleep times and all types of things like that. I am a person that believes separate bedrooms is a positive thing. I am a big advocate for separate bedrooms. We can fuck all over the goddamn house. I can come sleep in your room. You can come sleep in my room. But I believe having separate spaces like that, I believe that every household should have it. I believe that it helps relationships. I believe that it helps couples grow because just like you said, you have the time to miss each other because you are away from each other. And then when you want to see each other, you can see each other. Hell, you can plan date nights in the separate fucking rooms. Like, I think it's a wonderful thing. What do you think?
If you can't tell by my face, I do not agree. I'm a traditionalist in that respect, where I
Really?
absolutely, I feel like we should be in the same room, in the same bed every night. Unless we're pissed off, then one of us can go sleep in the guest bedroom. I'm okay with that on nights that we're pissed off, but I am an advocate of not no
Mm.
separate beds. Like I will say, both sets of my grandparents, from at least my earliest memories, both slept in separate bedrooms. But they made excuses like he snored too loud and she moved too much, so we got separate bedrooms.
But that is
But
another reason why people get separate bedrooms because sleep is a thing. Not be able to get sleep. People have gotten divorced over that.
I agree. But I am all about being next to you. That's a thing for me. Like
I could be
I
next to
would
you all over the house. I could be next to you
like
anywhere.
let's have separate rooms and maybe sleep with each other every night on Tuesdays. I don't want that. That's not
That's
what I
not what I'm
want.
saying. I like that's funny.
I don't want to be
Um,
the age I am and live in a house like we are 85 years old. Like I
Carnage
don't.
had something he wanted to throw in there. What did you want to say, buddy? You're on mute, big dog.
You're muted. Technical difficulty. Sorry, people.
All right, hear me. You kind of answered your question or whatever, but I was going to ask, okay, can we have separate bedrooms and we just sleep in the same room together?
So I wouldn't be opposed to that because maybe I have a bunch of stuff and you have a bunch of stuff, so you house your stuff in here. But at night we sleep in the same bed. I'm sorry, no, no.
Okay, I can see that. I can see that. But the minute you fuck up my sleep, I'm going to my room. That's what I'm saying. Like, and
Okay,
plus,
Grandma Gertie, I'm here
if I
for it.
want to take
What
a
works
nap
for you?
or anything, like I don't know, like I believe it. I believe in it. I think it's a good thing. Even if you make the caveat that Carnage proposed, and you sleep in the same bed every night, but you have separate spaces, I still believe in that. I believe that as a couple, you should have individual spaces that are yours that you can like you said, if you have things you can how I have seen so many videos of guys with these amazing geek rooms that I'm like at some point in
Like a
life
big
I
bag.
will build one. I will build, like
So
I'm
I'm
telling
not
you like
opposed
that shit would be oh my god it would be amazing.
I'm not opposed to having a man cave and my partner having one, and that don't got nothing to do with how we sleep at night. So if we
I would
need
put
our
it
we
see
can
I would
have
put a
our
pull
own
out in my I
space.
would put a pull out in mine so that if I wanted to sleep in my geekness I would do so.
That wouldn't for in my house, that would not be an every night thing. I would be like, what the F are you downstairs asleep every night for? That's not
Sleep,
how I roll.
sleeping in my childhood like the
I would be like, turn the fucking Power Rangers off and get upstairs.
and I would be angry. And I would be angry. I would be cussing you out the entire fucking time. I'd be angry as hell. You don't tell me to turn
But you
my
still gonna
down.
bring your ass upstairs and get in this bed is what you gonna do.
um,
Oh,
what was your other question that you had?
um, hold on. Let me get my notes out because I take notes.
I got out my questions. I don't see what the fuck, bitch.
Now, you had to cut me off so you could remember your question because you thought
Well,
you
Time
no,
were
you
going
running.
to
were.
forget.
There were a couple of you
Remember, you
that
said,
I did
I
forget
had
that
to
you
get this
did.
question out.
Yes,
I had to get this question out
yes.
right now before I forgot it.
Okay, so, but I got it. I got it out though. Like I failed to see the problem.
And that's the problem. Moving on.
That's your question, you big bitch. The
So, what do you consider like your best relationship? And what did you learn from it? Or have you had one? Or have they all been horrible?
um,
Uh,
I added that last part. That was me vamping.
I know. I was like, oh, I would not say they were all horrible. I would say that I have learned a lot from them. Have I had a best one? No. I'm sorry.
If
Carnage, I
you
love
had to
you.
rank them, which one comes in the best one?
In that case, I would put ours because we had more chemistry than I had with other people.
Who was ours?
Me and Carnage. We had more we had more. I know, right? It's like say the fucking name. Like, for those that are not aware, Carnage and I were together at one point. You know, almost what 8, 9 years ago now. Shit, almost 10. Shit, it's been a while, bitch. Uh,
So was this your last relationship?
yes, it was. Our relationship was my last relationship. Yes. Um, got me knocking the table. Jesus Christ. My
Is this
knees will
making you
not stop
uncomfortable?
hitting this. My
Is this
knees is like
making
you hitting this fucking table. Like technical difficulties. Ah! No. Um, I would say this in terms of if we're going to talk in terms of connection. I had more of a connection with Carnage than I had with other people that I was with. So I would put that there in terms of connection and growth. I would say that was probably the best one. They also ended the same way in a fiery crash of death, but whatever. Um, but from all of them, I have learned a lot about myself. I've learned a lot about what I want, what I don't want, the kind of person that I am capable of being because I I knew that I was able to pull strings. Let's just say that. But to what degree I was not aware of until I was put in situations in our relationship where I had to, as I always said, make magic happen. I learned the capacity in which I'm able to care for a group of people and the limits at which I have now reached. I've learned a lot about polyamory and what it takes to honestly be in a polyamorous relationship, the amount of communication and honesty that is required to be in a polyamorous relationship in order to see it survive. Um, my word still stands because I was just trying to be with someone for the sake of being someone when it came to M. And I see how bad I was. And, you know, I never thought I'd be the kind of person to manipulate one situation to bring in another. And then a lot of the things that happened to me in that was karma also for stuff I did. But I'll just say that I have grown, I have learned a lot. I don't like to rank my relationships as best to worst because I don't know. I feel like in some ways it's like it's not worth doing that. I learned something from all my relationships. I could talk about who was the better partner,
Well,
and if you
that's
want
what
to
I
ask,
meant.
the better partner
That
was Carnage.
so when I was asking, like, your best relationship was when you felt like
The best
the
partner that I was
majority of the
with,
time maybe you were in a good place
yeah,
versus in
I was, yeah,
turmoil.
the best partner I was with was Carnage, and that I guess it was because of our connection, our emotional connection, and he seemed to make more of an effort to understand me and be okay with me. Although this motherfucker had a lot of growing to do as well. He was not perfect. He was just perfect at the time. Yeah. But he's a great guy. I'm not gonna say he's not. We all had a lot of growing and learning in that situation. Um, and if I seem like I'm kind of dancing, it is because I don't want to give too much. I really
Yeah,
don't, because I could.
you scooting scatting
I
all over the topic.
yeah, I don't. Cause see, here's the thing. I know we're coming close to the end of our show. It's a lot of layers to Carnage and I that I was very nervous about going into, and I discussed it with him before we got on air because of painting a picture of someone who is now one of my best friends. Our
But Fran,
relationship
I wasn't
ended.
asking you. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I wasn't asking you to give us details. I was asking like what you felt like, what was positive that you were able to take away from that relationship, even though it didn't last. What were like the something positive that you took away from that that you carry with you?
Growing and gaining my own life. To
See,
sum up in just that way, growing and gaining my own life. Because for a long time I didn't have my own life. Everything I did was for other people. I did not, you know what I'm saying? I didn't think about what I really wanted. I always wanted everybody around me to be happy all the time. I know how you looking, buddy, but that was a lot of what was going on for me, was just wanting everybody else to be happy, you
I don't,
know.
I don't, I don't think you understood the question.
No, I think I did. Like what I gained was understood was learning that my life and my wants and those things are just as important as anybody else's. And for a long time, I put everybody else's shit first all the time.
that's what I was
You know what I'm
looking
saying?
for. You were going into about to give details about the relationship. I'm like, we'll need that, friend. we'll we'll need explosions of today's episode. But that's what I was looking for. Like, what is something positive that you were able to take away from maybe the relationship that, or even not the like, and I wasn't trying to make it your best relationship. That's why I just said a good relationship that you had. Well, it doesn't mean that because it ended, it was bad, but just something you felt like you took away that is a positive thing in your life now.
Yeah,
And
being here.
that
I
was
wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Carnage pressing me to be here. You know what I mean? And it wasn't for a relationship. It was for me to grow, to get away from my family. Not necessarily a horrible way, although it was a horrible way.
Oh, it
Um,
was horrible.
yeah, okay, it was. It was horrible. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's better now, but yes, it was horrible. So that's the main thing. Growing and getting a sense of self. I was so lost. I thought being with him or anybody would make me find something that made me feel worth anything. You understand what I'm saying? Like I didn't know how important my wants, thoughts, and feelings were just going from relationship to relationship. And so many times he did tell me, I can't be your world. This man is a polyamorous individual. He loves to engage and talk and do and meet. And someone like me at the time who did not understand any of that and thought polyamory great, other people are here, but I'm focused on you. That wasn't how that worked. You know what I mean? Like it, I literally spent a time building my world around him. I can honestly admit that and how wrong I was in doing that. And it took a lot of upsets in my life to finally realize I matter. What I think matters, what I feel matters, what I want matters, what I don't want matters, where I want to be matters. And when that really started to click for me, then I really started to understand more of my reason for being here and why I'm here. And it still ain't easy to grow, but it's made it somewhat more understanding to grow and do more. You know what I mean? Being an Onyx brother is something I pride myself on because that was a decision that I made based on what I wanted, nobody else. I went after it regardless of what anybody thought, and it has made me proud that I accomplished that and made that happen. You know, doing this, building this with all of you, it's a part of my world that I am trying to build to get out of this hellish fucking depression that I have been in for the longest god fucking damn time. All of this I've learned since moving here. I matter. What I want matters. And when my husband comes along, because I'm going to get married, I'm the kind of guy, I see it happening. Open marriage, because I'm a freak, let's be honest. But he's going to understand a lot of this shit. It's like I've built all of this that I'm not trading away or diminishing or getting rid of because of a person. And that was something when I was younger I was always so willing to do. Was throw all the shit away for a fucking person.
All right. Well, you have taken us there, and I'll send you my bill later for all the guilty. But
Oh
Wait,
girl.
wait. So, we recorded like 15 minutes before we started recording. So
so
we
I know,
got
yeah,
about
we got
15
time left.
minutes. We got
Yeah.
about 15 minutes left.
Mm.
So
Way
I'll
to
answer.
wrap up. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Hibby. I'm just fucking with you. I'm just fucking with you. Go ahead.
No, so just when I look back on the few relationships that I've actually been in, the ones that I consider relationships, like I can say, one of the good ones, like was probably my first love. We were only technically together like 7 or 8 months. This is when I was in college. I was like from 19 to 20. And what I took away from that is we were young, and it was really like both of our first relationship. Um, he met an older person at one of his internships, and they just started doing weird things and hanging out together. Then that's how, first of all, that's how I figured out how to catch people in lies because
Mm.
situations kept changing. Like, when was the last time you saw him? Oh, like a week ago. Then a week later. When was the last time you saw him? A week ago. It should have been 2 weeks. So you lied to us, but it's just that's how I caught that. But what I took from it, I will say, is um knowing when I'm in love, because and I, knowing that God is real. And this is my own spiritual journey. I don't know what y'all spiritualities are because we haven't really discussed that. However,
mm. Mm. One
I
other
broke
episode.
right. I broke up with him because I saw that we were going down the road where he was going to cheat, and I just didn't want to get my heart broke that way. And because I cared so much, I did not want to hate him. So I parted ways with him. Lo and behold, like 3 weeks later, they was on a date and everything, and I knew it was gonna happen. But I was so distraught when I found out they had gone on the date and that everything I thought was gonna happen was happening. So I mean, I was so heartbroken and distraught. Like, I've never felt that way again about another heartbreak. But your first one is the worst because you've never experienced it before. But I remember being in my mom's basement on one of the breaks from college and just laying in the basement crying, watching TV. I was in the basement by myself, crying, laying on the floor. And just, I kept praying, like, please take this pain away from me. I'm just tired of being heartbroken and feeling this way. And literally, a like shiver went down my body. And Like the pain went away, and I was okay. Cause come to find out, like a month after that, he was dating my old best friend that lived 2 blocks down the street, and I was okay. I could deal with that. But literally, I prayed the pain away. I kid you not, a miracle from 34th Street for me. But it was like I literally felt the pain come out of my body, and it was like I released something that allowed me to let that love go. So what I'm saying I took from that is first of all to know what it was like to be in love, even though
Mm.
it heartbreak. I understood what love was, and then secondly, just a closer my belief in a higher power was solidified for me in that moment. So those are like two of the things that I feel like I took from that relationship.
Mm.
But
Well, all right.
quiet the
Well, now I was gonna say, well, all right. No, I was gathering my thought. I was gathering my thoughts. Um, for me, I understand where you're coming from. The lying that you went on a ride with that. Like, I don't see how you did not like choke that motherfucker or
No, you
physically
mixing
fight.
two things up. Last show's relationship was not my first love. No, 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 no. That was in my mid 20s. My first relationship was when I was like 19, 20. I was still in college. Two different relationships. I
Okay.
didn't have to pray no pain away from that. The one in the last episode, I was done long before we ended, so there was nothing to pray away. I was done and numb in that one. So no, two different relationships.
It's just like I'm stuck on what to say. Like I've been through some shit, but like I've never had someone lie to me the way you were lied to, and then turn around and date a friend of mine.
Well, we were
Like,
no longer friends, so we were
oh
like
yeah,
best in middle school. But he literally lived like a block and a half down the street, and
okay,
we had not talked since ninth grade. At this time, it was like sophomore year of college. So we even though we lived down the street, we fell out and we hadn't talked since ninth grade. However,
okay.
I will tell you the funny thing. This is probably should have been in the last episode. But the funny thing is, the only reason I found out they were dating because me and him were still in communication, even though we broke up. I had got over my heartbreak. We had decided we could be okay, but we had only been broken up maybe like 3 months. My sister comes home and says, I just saw such and such house coming down the driveway. She said, so I pulled back because I know he don't know nobody out here. So I'm like, what you doing out here? Why you not down the street? And he says, oh, I know somebody here. But my sister knew who house it was because it's the neighborhood we grew up in. And she knew we used to be besties. So she knew who house he was coming out of. So she immediately came down the street and said, I just saw old boy coming out of what's the name house. And this is how God works. I had just seen the old best friend at a club, and we like, oh my God, you're gay, I'm gay. Oh, maybe we'll hang out. This was the irony of
Nope.
this moment that I ran into this old friend at the club like 2 weeks prior. And I told him that I said, I ran into an old friend. I said, we fell out. We haven't spoken. Even though he lived down the street, we hadn't spoken in years. And he just played dumb like he had no I they were already talking at the time when I told him I ran into him. He just played little dumb like he didn't know. But ironically, this was the funny part. My sister came home and said she saw him. I remembered that little boy's phone number from middle school. And I called his house at 12:30 at night. Like, is so and so over there? I couldn't believe I remembered the number, first of all. I hadn't called this number in like 7, 8 years. But that was before cell phones. So you had to dial people's numbers all the time sometimes. But I recalled that number. He was like, you should talk to him. I don't have nothing to say to you. And I was like, oh, I'm on my way down there. But then literally, my sister literally sat on me and would not let me leave the house because I was like, oh, I'm on my way. Bet I'm
That's the
coming down.
reaction that I was waiting to see that you had. That's him right there. I said, oh, I'll be right there.
Me and my first love are still in contact, and I still told him to this day, if my sister wouldn't have literally laid down on top of me, you would have been in the hospital that night. I promise you.
Safe to say, love can make you do some really fucked up, stupid things sometimes.
Absolutely.
Oh, this conversation has left me uh, speechless in
But
some ways.
we could probably wrap it up, I guess.
Yeah, because I'm not even sure where to go from here. Because these
Right.
stories that we have shared have been kind of wow. Two
Yes.
very in-depth episodes. I'm going to go cry later. So there's that. So I'm going to go. I'm going to go. I'm going to go shed some tears over my life. You know what I'm saying? Woo! Jesus.
Perfect
All right,
music.
baby. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna take this headset off and run around this room. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm trying to tell you, girl. No, I'm kidding. I am so kidding.
It's very
Partially.
therapeutic. Very therapeutic.
Girl, I have a crying game moments in the shower and just scratch myself. Oh my God. Now, you know, an ugly cry at that. You know what I'm saying? You
Isn't that
go,
your normal cry?
bitch, shut up. Shut it. My normal cry is not that ugly, bitch. Well, it depends on
You
how
don't
much.
see yourself when you cry. We do. I'm just saying.
I feel offended like fuck. Okay, girl. You know what? Thank y'all so much for a great episode today. It has been wonderful. This conversation has been enlightening. So, Hammy, if you could please tell our guests where they can listen to us every Wednesday.
As soon as I stop laughing, hold on. Okay.
Come on now. You know,
You can catch
I hope you choke on your promo. Come on, get it out, bitch. You fucking fat ass. After this whore right here, come on.
somebody in their feelings. But anyway, you can catch
I
us
don't cry ugly.
at 11 a.m. on Spotify or anywhere else you can hear your podcast. Now go ahead and tell them Ugly Cry where they can hear it.
Fuck you! Fuck you! You can check us out every Friday morning at 11 a.m. on YouTube at What's the Point Pod. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, tell all your friends, baby. We also
Follow.
have yes, that too. Like, share, subscribe. Subscribe means follow. What the fuck? I know what I said. You
There's different words on different sites. Some people have to catch up, Mustard, because on Spotify,
You need to stop. You know what? You know what I'm gonna say to that? I'm gonna say to that swindiffles. How about that? That's gonna be my word to shut you up. Swindiffles. Cut it off.
it probably
Cut it
is
off.
not going to work since I don't know what that stupid
Swindiffles.
word means.
What I say? Swindiffles.
I'm not
Stop
going
it
to
now.
shut up.
Is that some
It's
kind
not
of
going
new
to work.
magical
That's
spell?
my word. It is.
Harry Potter, your magical
Swindiffles
spell.
is my word. That means shut up, Hemi.
Oh, y'all,
Swindiffles.
oh, y'all,
Goddamn it.
all right.
You need to
Wrap
go
it
back
up.
and
I'm a
work on your magic spells.
whatever.
I'll
Swindiffles. You
say
can use the hand too. Poof. Poof it. There you go. Now, like, share,
awesome.
subscribe, follow on all social media platforms. What's the Point Pod? Thank y'all so much. Hemi, you have anything else
Find the
before we
links
close the
you
show?
can find the links to all of our social media platforms at www.whatsthepointpod.com. He forgot his part, but that's okay. I threw.
Yeah, I
I,
said everything out. You know what? You know what? Okay. Give them the
I was
clothesline.
like, yes, he about to say it, and you didn't say it.
Exact. That's why yes. So I said, wait, you forgot something. We're gonna get you some cue cards that you can pin on your wall so you can hit your points. So you can hit your points.
You know what? Fine. You know what?
All
How about
right,
this? As
everybody,
always,
stay
as
classy.
always, stay classy. How about that?
I knew what you was about to do. That's why I beat you to it, you dodo bird. I knew what you was about to do.
As always, y'all, stay
Nice
classy,
try.
bitches.
Nice try.
Hey.
See y'all later.
Bye, y'all.